The president of the African Development Bank Group, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, says the lack of stable electricity in Nigeria is killing industries in the country, adding that based on an International Monetary Fund report, about $30 billion is lost annually due to poor power supply in Africa's largest economy. Adesina lamented that low export revenue generated from the manufacturing sector represents only 3% of total revenues from the country's export. Here is Arise business analyst Chika Mbonu joining me for a Wednesday chart. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
$30 billion lost annually due to lack of electricity. And you can hear the humming of our generator, life-size generators. Two of them we've got down there.
Yeah.
About, I don't want to tell you about the diesel.
It's getting, I don't know what it's getting worse because I personally in my house be running generator literally for the last almost 18, 19 hours every day. You know, for the last maybe 2 months. It's just been like that. And anytime I call the power people, it's like there's one issue or the other. They don't have power to
deliver power.
Deliver power. So it is not surprising that how much we got we got $4 billion from Eurobond and we're celebrating. Look at this is $30 billion every year.
We just flush it down the toilet.
Flush it down the toilet every year. I got $4 billion and we're jumping up and celebrating. You know, and you find that that the figure might even be more. So power is a major problem for the country, and somehow, you know, I mean, the economic summit is on now. The late Bola Ige, I remember when on the coming of the Obasanjo regime in 1999, the first economic summit that we had, he came on there and said, within 2 years, we'll solve the power problem in the country, and everybody was clapping. Some of us who understood the mechanics of power knew that that was just, you know, in a political statement, because it wasn't like that. But from 1999 till now, you know how many years it is, yet the power supply in Nigeria has not moved the needle.
So this is $29 billion that we could be adding to our GDP every year.
Every year. I mean, you just need to move around. I mean, look at our premises here. You know, we're running on power. Our homes, the schools, the hospitals, you know, lives lost.
So here was the current administration of President Buhari signing deal with Siemens, the German power and energy company. Where are we on that? Have you heard anything?
Nah,
I haven't heard anything.
I haven't heard anything. And you do recall that our Madam Chimamanda, when she had the privilege of being in the same platform with Angela Merkel, and then Chimamanda asked her about the power, Siemens power deal, and you know, she didn't have an on-the-spot answer. I said she'd get back to her. And then I would have thought that the government would have latched on that and then provided some explanation of what is happening.
There was so much fanfare.
I celebrated
the signing of that.
I celebrated the government. I clapped for them on air that day, and I said, "This is the kind of news we want to hear." You know, we have so much bad news in our country that this is the first. Because I mean, I was wondering why we're always using the Scotland 11 to resolve our power problems. And so when they went to first 11 of Siemens, I said, yes, we got it right now. But somehow, that day, I'm going to make a mention issue of maybe funding, maybe local content, but that's neither here nor there. Because look at now, 30 billion pounds and dollars every year that we lose. And you can imagine how many years that we'll be losing that.
Here is, again, if you add what the president of the Afdb, Akinwumi Adesina, said about manufacturing accounting for 3% of our export revenues, 50% of it.
It's amazing because, you know, you would have thought as a value-added, you know, equation in that respect. You know, an input and output ratio in that they take 50% of our imports, and then the only thing the value-added gives to us only 3% of exports. And so what happens? So, you know, what is the problem? Of course, you know, the problems include the lack of power. You know, I used to wonder here, I said, goods come all the way from China to Nigeria, and they're cheaper than the same goods produced in Nigeria. And you can imagine that. So the problem of power, logistics at the ports. Ports enable trade. Ports enable logistics. But in Nigeria here, it's not the same thing. The problem of our ports is that seem intractable, beyond the solution. So many committees and panels, and from the presidential level to the lowest level, have been set up to try to resolve the Papa Port issue. But somehow the problem has seemed
But we've tried concessioning during the Obasanjo's administration. We brought in some bonded warehouses with some of the big names and all of that, and we thought that had probably...
But that's institute. That's when you get there, the port.
How do you get there?
How do you get there? Have you tried...
The roads?
The roads, have you tried there? No. Have you tried to go to Maitu? Have you tried to go to Apapa? Just try it one day and see. And then you can see the frustration that people go through.
So the problem of Nigeria ports is no longer simply within the port itself, but to deal with...
There are still problems there because of issues of scanners and inspection.
Equipment and all.
Manual inspection, lack of automation and other things. Modernizing the port.
What about the other ports? Why about the other ports? The MP talked about the one of
the things in those other ports is the draft, the depth of the water for the seagoing vessels to be able to access them. The other thing also is that Nigeria has the highest level of piracy.
In the Gulf of Guinea.
In the Gulf of Guinea. So government has tried to do something about it, but so a lot of abroad, when you are negotiating with the seagoing vessels, and a lot of them just put red flag in some of these locations. And so, a nation that is desirous of expanding trade, expanding exports, will take a holistic view and resolve this issue. Now, do recall that when our president came to Lagos one time, they were able to clear all the roads leading to Apapa overnight.
Yeah, from the international airport.
Do you remember?
Yes.
So it tells you that it can be done.
Yes.
It tells you it can be done, but I hear that...
Well, that was done presidentially speaking, but from a business point of view...
Yeah, but you see, politics and economics meet. It's our country now. So that power that they used to do this, do it that day, they could extend it also. I always tease the VP that the VP came and flew around that time with a helicopter, and then since then, set up a panel, but nothing came out of it. The MP tried some other automated something, it collapsed.
That's the technology, which call it now, as it were, to get to make sure that you don't have a congestion by the haulage, the trucks, and
but you see, the
e-calling system.
The contending interests are so many. If you talk to the road users, if you talk to the transporters, they'll tell you that the amount of, other payments they have to make to enable them access the port is so much. So there's so many interests. And most of those interests are personal interests.
At the bottom of the pyramid.
Yep. And so you ask, but because I learned that you use the word pyramid, there's accountability. At the end of the day, that ends up at the pockets of the political class. So, sometimes, people are not encouraged to do the right things, especially as election is also approaching.
In terms of how the bad roads and all of that impact manufacturing, infrastructure, all the way to export, drive and revenue, do you see us at any point in time, talking about rail now, if we bring that into the conversation, is the Abuja-Kaduna rail incident a bad poster boy?
Incidentally, I have done Abuja, Kaduna, and the return, Kaduna, Abuja. I've also done Lagos, Abeokuta, Ibadan, the rail one, the new one. And they were very clean. I even took pictures and sent to my people abroad, and it's very comparable to what we'll see in the other Western world. And everybody was happy about it. But the overhang we'll have here is still security. So everybody ran away from Abuja, for example, Abuja Kaduna Expressway to to the succor and safety of the rail. And then this you know, rude awakening happened. The rude awakening happened. So I mean,
we've traveled a long road. We've traveled a long way. Thank you so much for traveling this far with us.
Thank you.